my final fact before we get to the multiple choice is about Pablo Neruda, and I don't know if you know Pablo Neruda. He was a Chilean poet, but his poetry is more about real life and about the feelings you get in real situations, and he's got a really beautiful kind of turn of phrase, and I'm sure in his original Spanish, it's even more beautiful. But yeah, like so the one I want to read here a little bit is from his poem "A Dog Has Died," but he wrote a poem called "Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Lines," which is really beautiful. It's amazing, and "If You Forget Me" also. But this one comes from "A Dog Has Died," and I guarantee you, no other famous poet has written this. He said, "My dog has died. I buried him in the garden next to a rusted old machine. Someday I'll join him right there, but now he's gone with his shaggy coat, his bad manners, and his cold nose, and I, the materialist who never believed in any promised heaven in the sky for any human being, I believe in a heaven I'll never enter." Yeah, and yeah, like he's yeah,
wow.
so he's, as I say, writes about kind of real situations that people sort of live through and don't talk about quite a lot.
Oh man, that's pretty potent. That
Yeah.
short story stuff with a punchline at the end.
But so no,
It's
this is
wonderful.
just a no. Well, this is just a piece of a very much longer poem, which if you have a dog who's died, you should read because it's good. And "Tonight I Can Write the Saddest Lines" is also, "Tonight I can write the saddest lines. I loved her, and sometimes she loved me too." Is one of those, like, also just out of the poem.
Yeah.
He's got a real turn of phrase. But what's interesting about him, and this
Wow.
is kind of where we're heading with my fact, is that when he died, his death certificate said he died of prostate cancer, and then his chauffeur came up with a story that said that the doctor, while he was in hospital, the doctor who was working at the Clinica Santa Maria injected Neruda with a toxic substance in his stomach and killed him on behalf of the new dictatorial government of Augusto Pinochet in Chile, and that he didn't die of cancer. He was in fact assassinated. So that's my fact.
Good grief.
Yeah, and my fact is that
Pablo.
he didn't die of cancer. My fact is that he didn't die of cancer. He was in fact assassinated.
So what decade was that? Do you know?
1980s, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Was Chile a horrible dictatorship in the 80s? I know they're quite an emerging economy and they've done very well in the last 20 years.
They have, yeah.
There's like
I mean they've freed themselves of Pinochet.
Yeah, and there's gold mines there and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Augusto Pinochet, he assassinated Pablo the poet. No. That is a bullshit. No.
Yeah, I mean, so what's interesting about it is that it is still undefined.
Ew.
But it reached a point. So his chauffeur said that this had happened to him. A family member said they'd seen a red mark on his stomach, and this was enough to then get the Chilean government to say okay and grant a right for him to be exhumed and tests to be done on him. And tests were done on him, but it turned and these tests definitively proved that he did not die of prostate cancer.
Oh.
So then they put it in for more tests, and they were sort of like they found a bacteria, very virulent bacteria, and they were like, well, we're not sure whether the virulent bacteria was, in the ground when he was buried, or in his body, or where it is, but they found it in a molar tooth. And they were like, listen, we can do more studies. This is 2017 now. They're like, we can do more studies. We can find out what actually happened to him. But they have definitively proven he did not die of prostate cancer. So that his death certificate is a definite lie. And now the Chilean government is stalling. They're refusing to kind of back things. They're refusing to release documents. They're refusing to.
So it's still an ongoing thing.
So it's an ongoing kind of battle. But what we do know is that he did not die of prostate cancer, and the reason why.
Yeah, what was the motive?
Yeah, so here's the interesting thing. The reason why is that he was apparently heavily involved in the Communist Party, and he had political proximity. He was a good friend with the previous President Salvador Allende. So when Pinochet kind of took over, he was afraid that this really popular figure, Neruda, would be able to sway the populace against him. So the belief is that he did in fact bump off Pablo Neruda.
Good grief.
Just to kind of take care of him, because he died the day before he was supposed to go into exile in Mexico. So it's this really kind of eerie story, and as I say, it's ongoing now because the Chilean government owes the Danish labs that are doing the tests money, and they refuse to pay it, and they're sort of stalling the whole investigation. Whereas initially they'd said, "Oh well, it needs to be cleared up for our kind of national consciousness. We need to understand what's happened here, and we need to clear it up." But now, for some reason, they aren't releasing the results. So it looks like Pablo Neruda did not, in fact, die of prostate cancer, but he was, in fact, maybe assassinated.
Good grief.
Yeah, the guy who wrote poems about his dog dying.
Oh, man.
Which is quite a strange, like he wasn't a political poet. He wasn't writing about revolution. He wasn't, he wasn't any of the beat poets. He wasn't Allen Ginsberg. He was writing about his dog dying. But ultimately he's the one who got assassinated.
So sad. The paranoia of authoritarianism is just dreadful.
Yeah. I mean, Pinochet, let's be honest, bit of a dick. History will mark him down as being somewhat of an arsehole.